Okay, recording now. All right. Can you see this letter from the Bellevue College president?
Yes.
I mean, you probably can't read it. It's tiny, but I'm just going to refer to it. All right. So he had us working remotely until January 28th. And his guideline is, it's not a guideline, it's for classes and faculty guidelines. So the date for returning on-ground courses to campus will be extended 1 week to February 7th to allow for communication and time for transition. Okay, guys. So I have not had a chance to talk to my program faculty and everybody there. So I'm not in a position to give you any more information than that. My desire is that we return to campus February 7th. And that will mean we have been online for 5 weeks and we'll have the remaining, I think it's 6 weeks of the quarter, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.5 weeks of the quarter we'll have in person, okay? But I can't say, yes, we're doing it. I can't give you an official start date until I meet with my program. So that would be my intention. I have another request from you guys, another poll for you guys. Real quick on the exam date. If we return to campus on February 7th, if we return on Monday, February 7th, that would be the week we do the exam, okay? My question to you, if you could just answer the poll, is would you rather have the exam on Monday, January 7th, or Wednesday, January 9th? Okay, and the third option is just a joke. Do not pick the third option, okay?
I'm not to pick that option, bro. I'm not gonna lie.
Well, sure. But you wouldn't feel good about yourself, Peter, if you hadn't earned that grade. So, all right. Yeah, I kind of thought that was what you guys would want to. You don't see the results. Can you see the results? Not yet. Okay. So we've got 17 votes. And we have how many people here? We've got 20 participants. So we need a couple more votes. So the poll has launched and your choice is January 7th, Monday, January 9th, Wednesday. Okay. Now, if I end poll, will you guys see the results? Oh, here we go. Share results. Now you can see them. All right. So 71% of you would prefer a Wednesday exam. 24% of you would prefer a Monday exam. Okay. So my preference for you, for your optimal performance, would be that we do not have a Monday exam. Students statistically do worse on Monday exams, and it has to do with a placement of it being right after a weekend. Okay, thank you for that input. I will.
Would Monday be a in-person review session then?
Part of Monday would be an in-person review, correct? Are you going to change your vote now? So.
Yeah, I definitely need like review.
Sure. No, we would do that. I mean, we've had a little review. We had it on Monday, but we would pick up and do another hour or so of review. Okay. Because we're moving ahead. We're going to be not finishing, but moving ahead with chapter 10 and appendix G. So we need to be, we need to take a little step back if we're going to do that exam and do a little more review. Okay. All right, great. Thank you. Oh, there's another chat. What if school still delays return to campus? I don't think they will. University of Washington is starting up on January 31st, and Seattle University is starting up January 31st. So we're being consistent with what the other schools are, Julie, but I just don't know. I mean, are we going to have another variant coming through? All of that. I can tell you that University of Washington has had some classes have in the month of January, there have been some classes at University of Washington that have been held on campus, and they have not had any breakout cases of Omicron. They require vaccines at University of Washington. And oh, the other thing is, you guys all filled out a vaccine attestation for the college, or you wouldn't have been able to register. They're going to do spot checks on those vaccine attestations with students. So I don't expect any of you to fail those spot checks. I'm just giving you a heads up on that. I hope you don't fail. So, and Julie, we're just taking this pandemic one week at a time. So we shall see. The college has also said, and I don't think you can read this, instructors in on-ground classes. Let me see if I can make that bigger. Doesn't want to get bigger. Instructors in on-ground classes should make a reasonable effort to meet the needs of students who may need some flexibility in returning to on-ground learning due to high risk, illness, the need to quarantine, or issues related to daycare or school closures. So if you guys, and again, I will hopefully give you more information on Friday or Monday. If you guys have some issues that are keeping you from coming back to campus, please reach out to me one-on-one and we'll have a private conversation about that, okay? So do not hesitate to do that. So I'm really pleased that we're not starting on Monday. I think that would be too soon, just slightly too soon. But I'm pleased that we're going for another week. But as I've probably shared too many times, I cannot wait to get back in the classroom. And we will be in room R103, not in the S building. Okay, all right. Okay, we're gonna close that window down. Any general questions of the day? So, oh wait, let's see. Our agenda for today is going to be, can you see my PowerPoint? Say yes or no.
Yes.
Thank you. All right. So I wanted to share that announcement. More details coming. That's all I can say. More details coming. And if we return to campus that week, our exam will be that week, and it will either be on the Monday or Wednesday, and that will be chapter 8 and 9 exam. And if we take the exam Monday, we'll spend Friday class doing test review because we're moving on and you need to go back and review. And if we take the exam Wednesday, we'll do test review on Monday. Okay. We're going to continue on with current liabilities. If we have time, we'll take a peek at time value of money. And then, boy, has it been a crazy month in the stock market. Man, oh man. So hopefully you guys have strong nerves, those of you that have stock market money. And then I want to, toward the end of class, I want to go over the financial statement project, how to get your financial statements online. Some of you already know that, the basics, but I want to go over, we're going to pull 3 more statements this quarter. So, and then Friday, I'll give you some time to work in your project teams and begin to discuss team details and start working on your team project plan, also known as your team contract. All right. Okay. Any questions about the schedule? Any general questions? Okay. All right. I want to put up our calendar if I can find it. Okay. Tell me you can see the calendar. Yes? No?
Yep.
Thank you. All right. So I'm experimenting with using a headset because we're going to have some family living with us for a couple months, and that way it'll make it a little less noisy when I teach, but the timing is good for returning to campus for me. All right, so here we are. Our exam is here. I can't move it yet until I know the date of the exam. So we'll just leave it there for now, but probably the 7th or the 9th. Okay, Friday night, you're going to upload your individual financial statements. When it says individual, it means each and every person does that, not one per team. Here, a week later, you'll submit 1 contract per team, project plan. Okay. Homework for part 1, chapter 10 is due here. And then we'll go to February real quick. And if all is well, we'll be returning to campus here. Okay.
I got a question.
Go
So
ahead.
the statements that you said are due on the 28th, that's pretty much the same as like last quarter where we upload like the income statement and balance sheet and all of that.
Correct. We'll go over that later in class 2. But I'm adding more statements, Micah. I'm adding cash flow, the statement of stockholders' equity, and a third balance sheet. Okay. We're going to expand the analysis to a 3-year analysis versus a 2-year analysis. So we need
Okay.
that extra statement, but it's the same process. All right. So Appendix G. So I've split homework in chapter 10 to parts 1 and parts 2, and I have split homework in Appendix G, part 1 and part 2. And Appendix G is only like 10 pages. So it's just talking about time value of money. All right. And then we don't have class on Thursday, but the campus is closed, and then we'll have homework due on the bonds. So we're going to spend next week talking about bonds and time value of money some more. Okay. And then your project, your first milestone in your project, how you're doing there. Okay. All right. So let's go back here and pull out your course packs, please. We're going to review. We're not reviewing anything. Pull out your course packs and we're going to work on current liabilities. Okay. All right. All right. Our next, see if I have that up here. Okay. Okay. So on Monday, we talked about notes payable, and we had learned about notes receivable in chapter 8. And now we're doing kind of the mirror image of that, which is notes payable. Okay. So we did the note issuance. We did the entry to accrue interest, because interest is payable the first day of July, but we accrued it as of June 30th. And remember, when we accrue and you're just 1 day off, we don't need to worry about prorating for 1 day. We just round it up to the current month, and then the actual payment. So we're going to start in here on sales tax payable. Okay, so those 3 entries on Monday were we issued the note, debit cash, credit notes payable. So when you're thinking through these problems, both all these payables, of course, the payable is going to be a liability when you first record it. And then in this case, you borrow the money, but because it's payable, it means you have to pay it back. It's not like common stock that you never, ever, ever have to pay off. Here's where we accrued the interest, June 30. And here's where 1 day later, we paid. That was a 4-month note, I think. Yeah, a 4-month note. 1 day later, we paid off the note plus the interest. So it's principal and interest. We cleared out the interest payable that we had accrued, and we cleared out the notes payable by debiting them. Okay. And then we did a practice problem here. All right. All right. And there she goes. All right. So sales taxes. And I asked you guys how much was sales tax in Washington State. And I think, Zamzam, what did you tell me? Was it 10.1%?
It wasn't me, but I think it's around that number.
Oh, it wasn't you? Okay, sorry. It's too much, right? I hate sales tax. Can I just say that? I hate it. I would like a very low sales tax. And I'm sure you all agree with me.
Yep.
However, you may not agree with what I'm going to say next. What am I going to say next? Any guesses? I do want another tax.
Income tax.
I want income tax. Do you guys agree with me? Who said no?
Me.
Well, I know nobody wants taxes, yada, 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 but income tax, so sales tax and things like property tax. If you don't own a home, you indirectly pay property taxes because whoever you rent from has to pay property taxes. So if their property taxes go up because they own your apartment, they're going to pass that through to you, the renter, right? My husband and I live in our home, so we pay property taxes directly to King County. And our property tax is massive. It's just a huge amount of money. Okay. So our property taxes in the last 3 years have gone up 30%. That's a lot. It's a lot for 2 school teachers to pay. Did my salary go up 30% in the last 3 years? No. Property tax is based on the valuation of property, the market value of property. Okay. Sadly, our salaries don't go up because our property tax goes up. However, income tax, a state income tax, we have a federal income tax, and we're going to talk about income tax in a few minutes. We have a federal income tax, but we do not have a state income tax. If we had a state income tax, if you took that same money and just reduced sales tax and put a 4% income tax, if I get a raise, I'll pay more taxes. If I lose my job, I pay less taxes. Okay. So that's why I like an income tax better than a sales tax or a property tax. So anybody can argue with me. What's a good argument against my argument?
Oh, I was just gonna ask, what year did you buy your house, if you don't mind me asking?
No, 1992.
So you probably made quite a bit.
No, Micah, I've made no money off of my house. We have made no money off of our house.
Really?
What we have,
You don't make money until you sell it, right?
what we have is what the accounting world calls an unrealized gain.
Yes.
Right, because you haven't like liquidated it,
Right.
but the value's probably gone up quite a bit, I'm guessing.
Sure, but where am I going to go? I have a job in Bellevue. I don't want to commute from Timbuktu to Bellevue every day just so I could get a cheaper house. So you're kind of caught, you know, it's like, sure, if I die, my heirs, my daughters will inherit a beautiful inheritance, I guess. But if they want to live in Bellevue, you know, where are they going to live? So that it's everybody's excited about property values, but I have mixed feelings about it. It seems like funny money to me. But anyway, argue against me. Why should we not have a state income tax? I know people don't want taxes in general, but what if it were the same amount? You just shifted it from sales tax and property tax into income tax. So you basically whole.
Income tax, like state income taxes are generally less regressive for like people that have less money, I believe. And then sales tax is like the opposite. People that have more money, it benefits them more because they don't spend as high of a portion of their money that they make.
Exactly. But you're arguing in favor of my idea. Anybody want to argue against it? That's perfect, Micah. So income tax is progressive. Sales tax and property tax are regressive. They tax people at lower incomes at a higher rate than higher incomes. So you all agree with me? We should have a state income tax? Yay. Usually somebody disagrees.
I have a question for you though. Judith?
Yes.
I don't disagree with you so far. I'm going to do a little bit more research. I just hate taxes, all of them. Doesn't matter where. But the thing is, with property taxes, the value of the house increases, right?
Correct.
But you're not really the real estate is like frozen asset. Unless you sell it, you're not going to see those net gains.
Correct.
So why would they want to increase the property tax on people who are like more on, you know, on fixed incomes, older population, and not everybody can, you know, is going to be able to afford their home down the line, especially with like King County being, you know, they increased for very long.
So
They
expensive.
increased it so much. Doesn't make sense to me.
So Zamzam, you can get exemptions if you're on a fixed income to lower your property taxes. That you can get that from King County. So that's a good thing. I think in Bellevue, it appears that the goal is that the rich will buy all the land, right? That the poor or middle class will say, I can't afford to live here anymore because the property taxes are too high, and we'll end up with a city filled with wealthy people, okay? On an income tax, the more you make, the wealthy you are, you'll pay more taxes, but it's proportional. It's a percentage, okay? But as Micah says, if you're making a lower amount of money, you'll pay less taxes. However, with property tax, they don't care how much money you make. You still have to pay, $15,000 or $20,000 a year in taxes. So it gets pretty expensive. So that's what makes it regressive. And then sales tax, you'd say, well, everybody's taxed, it's fair. We're all taxed at 10%. But people who make less money spend a higher percentage of their income on food and gas. And so you're really digging into their income more. So, all right. Thanks, Chase. Okay. So that's my argument for the day. And you are always welcome to disagree with me. The agreement is not required. All right. So let's start with sales tax again. So I'm going to move this over. Sales taxes. So we are on page something. What page are we on? We are on page 44 in your course pack. Okay. So so sales tax, you buy something for $100, you pay 10% sales tax. So when you go to the cash register, they charge you $110. All right. So typically your receipt will tell you this is what you paid, and these items are taxable, and here's your tax, and here's your total amount. What things are not taxable? Are you guys aware of things that are not taxable?
Air. I mean, not yet.
Food.
No, I mean
Food.
something you pay money for. Yeah, food. What kind of food, Jared? You got to be specific.
Like produce and stuff.
Yeah, but there's other kind of food that is taxable. Anybody know?
Candy, soda.
Candy, soda, I think. What else?
Alcohol.
Alcohol. What else? Food we eat in a certain way, in a certain context, I should say, not how you eat it.
Is it restaurants?
Correct. Yes, restaurant food. And so that gets complicated because, as you probably all know, there's a lot of prepared food in grocery stores. And I think that's taxable if it's prepared food. If it's food you're buying that's like produce or meat, I think that's non-taxable. So, all right. Oh, interesting. You guys probably don't realize that we don't pay tax for doing nail and hair. Oh, okay, that's good. Okay. Some things are non-taxable, and something you need to know about taxes is they're very political. So they're driven by what they want society's behavior to be. And I mentioned to you guys that R&D costs, research and development costs, are expensed in chapter 9, and that is a benefit to businesses because they get that tax write-off right away, and businesses love a tax write-off. But sometimes they'll do a capital expenditure tax incentive where they say, if you buy a capital equipment, big equipment, $20,000, $100,000 equipment, we'll give you a tax credit. And it's very political. They're just saying, look, we want you to invest in American businesses, roll that money back. And so they're just trying to give people incentives. Not a bad thing. Okay, so your receipt should say that, so that the merchant collects the money and then he returns the money to the State Department. And I think we left off here on Monday. We must pay taxes. Please don't not pay your taxes. So the state says, if you don't charge your customer taxes, you go, oops, we forgot. Too bad. They'll still charge you, the merchant, the store, the taxes if you owe it, if it's a taxable item. Okay. So we're going to look at the middle of page 44, the March 25th cash register reading for the Macrina. I think my course pack says another name, but we'll use Macrina. Macrina Bakery shows sales of $10,000 and sales tax of $600. Okay. How would you book that entry? Let's say they received cash for it. So build a journal entry to record that as if it were one sale. What would you book there? What would be your debit? What would be your credit or credits? You have 1 minute to come up with some journal entry items.
Do we just say it out loud?
Yeah, please do.
Would it be like sales tax expense debited and then like taxes payable and cash credited?
You're on the right track. So cash is involved. So if you've made a cash sale, does cash go up or down?
It goes up,
So how do we increase cash, debit or credit?
debit.
Okay, so we're going to debit cash for the full amount, the 10,000 sales and the 600 sales tax. So that'll be cash of 10,600. Okay.
Which
Thumbs up.
boxes do you want us to put this on? There's like
You're in the middle of page 44.
July 1st, 2011.
No, it says the March 25 cash register reading. Let's see. If I
Oh,
can-
never mind. My
You
bad.
got it? Okay. It says Cooley, but assume it's Macrina. Let's just make it, because I'd rather it be Macrina. It's a better bakery. Okay. Okay. So we've got cash of 10,600, sales of 10,000. Okay. And sales tax payable of 600. Now, Micah, I'm really glad you said sales tax expense. It is not a sales tax expense for the Macrina Bakery. It is not. The customer paid that 600. Macrina is just an agent. It collects the money from the customer and it pays it to Department of Revenue. Okay. There's no expense. There's no deduction for the company. They're just an agent collecting that cash. And I used a lower rate, but it's actually more like 10%. Okay. So everybody book that journal entry and make sure you've got it. And then we'll do a practice one. I don't have a spot for your practice problem, but just squeeze it in at the bottom of your page. Okay. All right. All right. What if, and this happens more often than you would think, what if Macrina Bakery did not separately record sales and sales tax at the point of sale, but they knew that taxes were 6% and that the total amount collected was 10,600. Okay, so they charge sales tax, they just don't have a good record of it. So at the end of the day, they say, we collected 10,600. How much of it were sales and how much of it was sales tax? What is the math for calculating this? All right. So you already know the answer, but what's the math for getting to that answer? Take a minute and see if you can come up with an algebraic expression for me. Because what you're going to get is, I think it's going to have, you're going to have one in your homework problem. Yeah. Okay. So how would you solve for sales and sales tax? What do you know about this problem? You know the sales tax rate, 6%, and you know the total amount collected. How would you set up a problem so that you could solve for X and X is your sales? How did we get to the 10,600? What did we do to get there?
We found 6% of 10,000.
Correct. So if 10,000 is X, can you build me a formula, Alexis? So X plus something equals 10,600. What would be your formula? Your equation?
Would it be X plus 6%?
Almost.
X plus times 6% times X. I don't know how to put it.
You did it. You did it. X, let's say X is your sales plus 6% of X equals 10,600. Okay. So write that formula down. And I'm going to give you a different set of numbers. Okay. All right. But we'll finish this out. So what's your next step? If you were solving an algebra problem and you said X is equal to sales, but we collected more than that. We collected an additional 6%. So we're going to add 6% times X is 10,600. If you were to combine those terms, what would you have?
Would you subtract X from both sides?
Well, not yet. You got to combine them first. So how do you combine X plus 6X? So if, I don't show it here, but you've got a 1 in front of this X. Okay.
Isn't it like
So
one
it's like-
point zero six x equals
Say it again, Peter.
1.06x equals 10,600?
Yes. Yes. Perfect. And Katya and Zamzam, yes. Okay, now can you solve for X? What would be your next step?
Divide both sides by 1.06.
And you would get X equals 10,600 divided by 1.06, and you would get 10,000. Okay, and you can test it out on your calculators. And then you'd say, well, we know what sales are. That's X. What are sales tax? Sales tax is going to be 10,000 times the 6%. Okay. All right, so let's do one more. What if you collected 10,000? It's not going to do that. Oh no, I got this one. I already did a practice. Okay, that's perfect. Okay. What if Jimbo's Juice Shop does not record sales and sales tax at the point of sales? The registered total is 10,476. The sales tax rate is 8%. Calculate the sales and the sales tax in dollars. Okay. You guys have 2 minutes, and I wish I could put you in your breakout room all the time. You guys remember your numbers? Your team numbers?
Yeah.
Okay. Go in your breakout room and, oops, wait a minute. Nope, didn't want that. Go in your breakout room and give yourselves the answer to this. So take a picture of this problem. And don't want this breakout room. Delete room, yeah. Create. Okay. Okay, go in your breakout room. You've got 2 minutes to solve this problem. So take a picture of it first and then come out with the answer. Cole, are you there? Jared, are you there? Otto, are you there?
Yeah, I just don't remember
Yeah,
my
sorry.
group number.
All right,
Yeah.
let's go look. Otto, you are in team 5.
Got it. Thank you.
But Cole, you are. Cool. Jared, you are in team 3. Cole, I've lost you. Cole, you're in team 3.
Okay, sweet. Thank you.
You bet.
We're done.
All right, let's close the rooms. No, people are still working. I guess they're working to the last minute. Some DM me your solution. Looking good. Yeah, that looks good. Okay, I've got somebody in the waiting room with no name. Okay.
Mine look okay? I like DN mine, do you?
Oh, nope.
Not?
Mm-mm. So go back to the calculations, Micah. I think I know what you did. Okay, let's see. Did you take 8% of the total?
Yeah, I believe so.
You're gonna pay more taxes than everybody else.
You know,
Okay, is everybody back? Okay. Does anybody know who's in the waiting room? I've got an unnamed person, so I'm not letting him in. All right, okay. So let's look at the solution. So what did you guys get? What's your answer?
Wait, Judith, I think somebody was texting saying that they have a problem staying in the room or something like that, that they're gonna come back.
That was Chase. Chase, are you still here? Chase, are you there? Okay, if we get Zoom bombed,
Yeah, I'm in here.
Okay, I don't know who's in the waiting room, and I asked them who they are and they're not answering. So if you guys know, let me know, but I'm not letting a stranger in. Okay, all right. So how did we do this problem? Your answers are, Katya, you're correct. Alexis, you're correct. Otto, you're correct. Okay, so let's walk through let's go back and look at this one. If we know the total, you have to build an equation saying 1x is sales plus 6% of x is your sales tax, and that equals the total that you collected. Okay, then you divide 10,600 by 1 point whatever your tax rate is, and you get to the sales number. So how would we build it if our sales tax was 8%? How would we build it if our sales tax is 8%? Same way, we'd say, I didn't do the first part. Let me do the first part. Let's just take that off. Okay, so we would do, in this case, we would say 10476. Okay, so the first part would be x plus 0.08x equals your total collected. Then you divide that by 1.08, you get 9,700 sales, 776 sales tax, which would be the 8% applied only to the sales. Now, if you mess up and if you do 8% of 10,476, that's more money than you collected from the customer. So you're going to end up paying more taxes. Believe me, the state of Washington will love you, but you're paying too much in taxes. Okay, so you want to make sure you only apply that tax to the sales amount, not to everything you collected. Okay. All right, we're going to start payroll and then we're going to take a 10-minute break. So then we'll do the journal entry. Okay, Ronnie, why would you not divide by 0.08? Go back. Can you ask me that question out loud? I don't understand.
It says like it's 8% sales tax, but then you divide it by 1.08. So why wouldn't you divide by 0.08?
Because the way I set up the formula is X is your sales amount. So you're saying X, which is your sales, plus the sales tax, which is 8% of X, equals the total amount that we collected. Okay. So
I
then
think
you
my problem.
Yeah,
Oh,
go ahead.
sorry.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I think where I messed up is I was thinking that 10,476 was the sales, but that's like the sales plus the tax. So
It's both, yeah. So it's like you went to a craft fair or you were in a sports team and you sold popcorn at the game. You started the day with $50 so you could make change. At the end of the day, you had 10,476 plus the 50. So you don't count the 50. You say, I collected 10,476. I know some of it's sales tax. How much is sales tax? So we're having to back into the sales tax number. We don't want to divide by 0.08. We want to divide by 1.08 because X plus 0.08 equals 10,476. So that's like 1X plus 0.08 is 1.08X equals 10,476. All right. So let's get the bad news over with. Who remembers their first paycheck and the shock you had? Because why? Why were you shocked when did you experience shock? I know I did. My first job was at Jack in the Box. I did my time in fast food for 2 years or 13 months, I guess. Felt like 2 years. So who remembers their first paycheck? Why was I shocked when I got that first paycheck? Because there were so many things taken out of that paycheck. It was really funny. My younger daughter got her first job after college and she works in New York and as a clerk in a law firm. And she was just stunned at how much the taxes and different things. Katya, I remember the shock. Zamzam, I remember the shock. Yes, it was, you get your paycheck. Let's say you were supposed to be paid $100. You get your paycheck, and how much is in your paycheck? What's a typical amount in the paycheck? If your whole amount you earned was $100, your paycheck is usually quite
Like
not
63.
$63 or $75. I literally remember running to my dad and saying, "Oh my goodness, Dad, what happened here?" And he just laughed and he said, "That's taxes." And I said, "For what?" I don't like Zamzam. Why am I paying taxes? I don't want to pay taxes. And he goes, "Well, it pays for our roads, it pays for our firefighters, our police." He started naming, and of course, FICA. And so we're going to talk about FICA in a minute. FICA is that takes 7.65% out of our paychecks. So there's two types of salaries. There's two types of ways that employees are paid. One is salary and the other is wages. If you earn a salary, it's a set amount. You might get $1,000 a week or $1,000 a month. And then if you work 40 hours a week, you still get the same pay. If you work 45, you still get the same pay. So you don't get any overtime. So. And if you're on wages, you get paid per hour. Okay. Now, tell me, please, what is your preference? Would you rather be paid a salary or would you rather be paid a wage?
Wage.
Why a wage?
That is paying like per rate per hour, so we don't have to like work overtime or anything like that.
So yeah, you get paid for overtime, right?
Yeah.
So I'm paid a salary, so I'm not paid overtime at all. So and I've had both, and I'm coming to the conclusion at the kind of the second half of my life that actually everyone should be on wages, so that you have to justify why you're working, and just kind of keep that focus, which is very accounting of me. But anyway, all right. So determining the payroll involves computing three things: your gross wages, which in my example was $100, your payroll deductions, and then your net pay. We as employees, we all call it our take-home pay. What did you take home? I had to learn that term after my first paycheck. And then you know what my dad said to me? I said, "That's too much. There's too much coming out of my paycheck." And he said, "Well, you're 16. No, I wasn't. I was 17. He goes, "You're 17 years old. When you turn 18, you'll be eligible to vote, and you can vote for different taxes or you can vote against different taxes." So that's how that works. Okay. So we're going to take a break, but we're going to be on page 45 of the course pack. And we're going to look at this from the point of view of the employer. We're not doing the taxes for the employees. We're doing the taxes. We're doing the payroll taxes for the company. So let's say the company records its payroll on March 7th. For the week of March 7th, the corporation owes its employees $100,000. So there's many employees in this payroll. The corporation will pay its employees $67,564. And you can see on that page in your course pack, if I go to that page, you can see in your course pack, this is what I'm talking about. The gross pay is $100,000. The net pay, the take-home pay, is $67,564. And here's all the money that's going to be withheld from the paycheck. Okay. And I'm just showing this as average rate, $20 an hour. The payroll was for a total of 5,000 hours for a total of 100,000. Okay. So let's take a break for 10 minutes and let's come back at 11:32 and we will start then and do some more journal entries.
Judith, I have a quick question.
Sure.